Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 850. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Scott?
Cheers to everybody. I'm glad to see Cyber Monday and the rest of that garbage.
Oh, yeah. Before we start off with Star Wars, just want to say that Supergirl was awesome tonight. First part of the...
But that was what I was just about to click on, and then you...
First part of the crossover. Look, I loved it. I can't wait to watch it the rest of the week. So I want to get that out of the way. That's fantastic. I'm very psyched to see her with everybody. That's what I'm really looking forward to. So now that that's out of my system, what do you have to tell us, Chris, about Rogue One?
Well, I'm kind of surprised that they're doing this, but I kind of saw I don't want to say it's a spoiler because it's something that they said would be in the movie, or it's a certain character that they said would be in Rogue One a while ago. But they just, I don't want to say who it is, but they just showed him on a commercial. And I'm kind of wondering why they decided to do this, because that's a big character, and it would have been good to see him in the movie without us knowing whether or not he was definitely in it, because whether or not he was in it was kind of up in the air.
Right.
Along with that, they showed a scene in one of the more recent trailers of something big happening in the movie. A certain thing that happens. That I don't want to say what it is, but I think that it's another thing that they should have saved for when the movie came out. And I really don't know why they're spoiling this stuff unless they have other things in the movie that they're going to surprise us with.
Right.
But The Force Awakens didn't do this. The Force Awakens showed stuff, but it kept everything pretty well under wraps, the main stuff. So I'm kind of upset that they had this certain character in this most recent TV spot that I saw.
That's the problem I have with trailers today, is they leave little for the imagination or little for anybody to learn. It's gotten to the point to where if you see the trailer, you've seen the movie. And to me, a trailer should only last maybe a minute 30 long, touching on just a brief spots here and there. But yeah, I saw the same trailer. I'm thinking, why the hell are you wanting to spoil this movie as much as you are?
Well, I have a question. We have talked about this before on here, without mentioning any names. Did we talk about this mystery person possibly being in Rogue One?
I don't remember, to tell you the truth.
Did we talk about the person reusing footage with the permission of the family and stuff filmed and stuff? Did the person pass on?
Yes, but this is a totally new scene with them. Okay. It's not reused footage.
Okay, but it was stuff filmed before he died.
No, I don't think so.
It was computer generated.
It looked like it to me. If it's the character, and let me just say this: if we go see the movie and I'm wrong and it's not this character that I'm thinking of, fine. Then I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure.
Say it?
I don't want to spoil it. We can put a spoiler tag in this if you want.
All right, spoilers. Okay, possible spoilers.
Yeah.
Because I just want to make sure that me and Chris are on the same page. Don't watch the rest of this podcast if we want to be spoiled about Rogue One, possibly. Are we okay? 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. Are we talking about Grand Moff Tarkin?
Yeah, it looked like him in the trailer. It looked like him, or someone who looked a lot like him. And the thing I was talking about before, the Death Star fires in one of these trailers, and it's either just the super weapon or it's the whole Death Star. I think it's just a super weapon because the effect it has on the planet is much different than what we see on Alderaan.
Right.
I think they should have kept that quiet. Because
I thought so too.
As far as we know, nobody knew that the Death Star, at least a super weapon, was going to fire or be used in this movie.
Correct.
We knew that it was being built. We knew that was the whole point of the movie, was the plan.
I thought the first time they fired it was on Alderaan.
Well, that's the first time the whole Death Star fires.
The whole Death Star.
Because I'm telling you, the effect, how Alderaan got hit and it just kind of was obliterated?
Yeah.
This beam fires and it looks like the planet starts to collapse in on itself.
Okay.
And then like layers of it are blowing off. I know what I just said contradicted myself, so let me say it again. It looks like the layers are blowing off the planet, not collapsing in on themselves.
Okay.
Which is much different than what we saw in A New Hope.
Okay.
So I think they're just testing the super weapon without the whole Death Star. You know what I'm saying?
So it's only half power.
Which makes sense, because before you put this thing in the Death Star, you A, want to make sure it's stable so it doesn't blow the whole thing apart, and B, you want to make sure it works at all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you want to make sure that you're not going to put this in the Death Star and be like, oh, well, this certain component or components don't work. Now we got to take it out, you know. So logically, it makes sense.
So logically, they tested the Death Star before they actually did it on a planet.
I think.
Population.
We could go to this movie and they can be like, no, that's what the Death Star does from now on. I hope they don't do that. But I'm pretty sure they don't. They're not going to do that. I think they're just testing either just the weapon itself or the whole Death Star at, like what Scott said, maybe at like half or quarter power or something. Yeah. It certainly wasn't full power. Because we know what happened with Alderaan.
Full power, the same thing would have happened as with Alderaan
right.
Oh.
Now this Grand Moff Tarkin thing, I saw the trailer where they had Darth Vader breath.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about.
That's the one he was in?
Yeah. You kind of see him at the end of the trailer.
I must have missed it, like, really fast.
Maybe it's not him. And it's just somebody that kind of looks like him, but it looks like him from, like, behind. Like, if you saw him walking up from behind.
So it's like a computer-generated Robert Downey Jr., young Robert Downey Jr., like, in Civil War type of thing, right?
Yeah. And we also know that Director Krennic from the novel Catalyst, he's trying to prove himself again because something happens. Basically, it's like this. All like the Grand Moffs and all the higher ups, I should say, because it's more than just Grand Moffs, but all the higher ups in the Empire, like below the Emperor and below Vader, they all kind of have this like, I don't want to sound stupid, but it's almost like you can't sit with us policy, where if you're not one of us, you can't like, you know, be around us or associate with us. Yeah.
If you're not one of us.
Krennic wants to be a part of that, and he almost gets it in the book. He almost gets there, but then something happens. So this Death Star project is kind of like his last shot at getting the recognition he feels he deserves. So it makes sense for Tarkin to be there because of how high Tarkin is on the chain of the Empire. Right. I mean, he's even higher than Vader, technically. So,
wow.
I mean, you know. I'm talking about
He's higher than Vader?
I'm talking about Tarkin, not Krennic.
With the Emperor?
Tarkin is, yeah, he was able to give Vader orders.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, remember in Episode 4, he tells Vader to stop choking the other guy who's like, this is the greatest power in the universe. I mean, only the Emperor and I think Vader, there's one other person that can kind of order Vader around, but he's dead, I think. I think Vader killed him. And it's kind of funny. Vader killed him and the Emperor was like, good job, I was kind of hoping you did that, so major point for you. And that was in the comic. That was in the comic book.
Wow. All right, so here's the thing. I stop after a while. You got to stop somewhere. You don't want to be spoiled totally. You know.
Yeah.
So you make a decision. All right, that's enough of the trailers. That's enough of the TV spots. That's enough of the snippets. I'm not going to look at any of this stuff because I want to be, by accident. I saw the thing, I think, on Supergirl or whatever it was like, I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was going to avoid altogether, but I was like, let me just watch it, but.
Probably the same thing I saw.
Yeah. All right, so we got that, which you heard the ticket sales are through the roof, right?
Apparently they crashed Fandango.
Did it do like Force Awakens type of crashing?
Well, I mean, on Fandango, I think similar, but we got to remember, The Force Awakens crashed like 5 sites.
Damn.
So, I mean,
So this is
still big, though.
Expected.
I mean, if this is still crashing sites, that's still pretty big, you know what I'm saying?
Well, again...
Not in the full movie, so he crashed it.
The whole thing is the moment you see that Darth Vader's in it, right there, people are like, oh, shit! Basically, I'm telling you, don't be too surprised if this does way more than we expect. Just
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I hope it does. Honestly,
that's going to tell them, hey, people want to see Darth Vader. I think.
I mean,
It's like
I'm going to be honest. As unlikely as it is, if this movie did more than The Force Awakens, I would not complain. You would not hear a word out of it. Yeah.
Neither would I.
I would just kind of be like,
I would be like,
I got my fingers crossed.
I would be like, oh, it's to be expected because Darth Vader's in it. That's what I would think right away. But maybe it will.
I will say this much. The whole aspect of having Vader in it, they should have saved that for the very last trailer they put out. Me personally.
Oh, I thought they should have had that in the beginning. They should have had that.
Honestly, to me, Vader is your money shot. So why not sing him?
But
put
because you need to have people to know that he's in it. That's the whole point.
And that's why I would wait. That's why I would wait till the very last trailer I put out, and then that's when you hear the.
Normally, I would agree. I would agree with that. But the thing is, they weren't shy about telling us that he was in it, even before the movie was shot. When they were planning the movie and when it was about to be shot, they were like, "Yeah, by the way, Darth Vader's in this movie, just so you know." And it was like, "Oh, okay." Right. Had they not done that, then I would agree with you. They should have left it for the very last trailer. But I think
this movie.
Well, see that's something. This is the thing.
That's a mistake if he's not in the movie.
Well, this is the thing, right? And this has kind of been forgotten. And they brought this up on Collider a couple of days ago. Everybody's forgotten about that shot with the guy kneeling before what looks like the Bacta tank. We still don't know who's in that or who that guy is. Because there are the Emperor's Royal Guards in that shot. Okay? We know in new canon and even in old canon, those guys were the Emperor solely. Like, even Vader couldn't give them orders. If Vader gave them an order, they'd be like, yeah, no, we don't listen to you. We listen to the Emperor. And if you try to kill us, you have to answer to the Emperor. So, sorry, Vader. But we don't know who that is. It's not Vader because the guy's wearing a cloak. Unless Vader's wearing a cloak in this for some reason. And we don't know what they're kneeling before. I think it's a Bacta tank because it looks like a Bacta tank, and that's the prevailing theory right now. But that shot has not been in any of the marketing after, I think, the second trailer, which is kind of suspicious to me. Right. So could it have been the Emperor? Maybe, but who is he kneeling before? Well,
that's ridiculous if in itself, if he was.
That's why I don't think it's the Emperor.
Well, he's simply on the ground. I mean, just simply, you have to be on the ground. And
I mean, there's no other Jedi and Sith in this, right? I mean, that's...
There's apparently a Force-sensitive character, but they're not a Jedi, and they're not... I mean, Vader's the only Sith, apparently.
Is that thing still in play? Always two there are, a Master and Apprentice, or are they doing away with that too?
Yes, but the Inquisitors don't count as Sith, so... That's who I thought that guy was. I thought it was going to be like an Inquisitor in the movie, which I was like, yeah, do it, because the Inquisitors are actually really good. But he's not, I don't believe, or they're not, whoever they are. So who knows? I mean, it could be anybody at this point.
How many trailers we have out already?
There's a bunch. There was there was first and second one. I think there was a couple of international trailers. And then there were a bunch of TV spots, and then we got that third trailer with
about 7 or 6.
I mean, trailer-wise, I'd say I think it's like 3 or 4. But
two internationals.
I think we had 2 international.
3 regular. That's 5, and there was a breath one that's 6, right?
Well, that was a TV spot. That wasn't really a trailer.
Oh wow. Right.
We have a whole bunch. Again, there was another TV spot that my friend and I saw. We were watching Rebels because I had missed not this week's but the week beforehand. So I was over at his house and we just decided to watch it because we were going out later on and we had time to kill. And we were watching Rebels and there was a new commercial for Rogue One. And again, they spoiled a really good scene that nobody knew was in the movie. And we just looked at each other and were like, what the fuck? Why did they put that in the trailer or in the commercial? Pardon my language. But we were just sitting there like, the scene was so cool that our jaws hit the floor, and we were like, why did they put that in the commercial? That's such a cool scene. And then, no, you're getting it early in the commercial. Sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's why I've always had trailers. The other one is like, here's a sneak peek of the trailer that is coming out next week. So I'm thinking, then why not release the trailer early instead of giving us a sneak peek of a sneak peek?
Now, is it released the same everywhere, or is it released in Europe first or something? Or like, what's the deal with that?
Honestly, I think the UK gets it before anybody. I think.
Oh my God.
Because I remember somebody on a Facebook group, on the Facebook group that I'm a part of, there's one of the members lives in England, and they were like, I guess we're getting it early, haha, and they posted the article, and everyone was like, you son of a bitch. Like, what?
Yeah. You know what's funny? Not to change the subject, but Doctor Strange, $617 million. What do you think about that?
It's pretty good.
Worldwide. I mean, they're saying it's going to get 7 at least. Do you think it's going to reach 7?
I think it's going to get close, yeah.
Yeah. Good, Scott.
Yes, it will. I'm going to say it will hit. If it doesn't go over by 1, it definitely will hit the 7 mark.
Yeah. What else want to say?
There was some more Star Wars stuff, too.
Oh, go ahead. Tell me.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to finish that, it's kind of like...
well, let me just see what Fantastic Beasts is doing.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Let me just tell you what the box office for that is.
Because that was one of the movies I was going to see on Thanksgiving. It was tossed up between that and Bad Santa 2. And because Fantastic...
I mean, right now it's...
started a lot later, I chose Bad Santa 2.
Right now it's $474 million worldwide. It's going to beat its budget domestically. I mean, right now it's $156 million budget domestically. I mean, the budget's $180. So yeah, it's a success, and it's going to destroy that still. And Mona is a hit too for Disney. They feel it's $100 million worldwide, but I don't even know what they spent on it to make. All right, so let's get back to Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, so there are two kind of things that could relate to Episode 8 or 9. So again, spoilers. We're giving you spoiler tags for this one.
Yes.
So unlike Rogue One, you can turn this off without them blasting it everywhere.
Spoilers, Rogue One. Yeah.
Good luck trying to dodge the commercials. So there was an interesting rumor that came out. I think either late last night or today. I think it was today. That had to do with Obi-Wan. And the rumor says that the reason that they haven't announced a anthology film or a Star Wars story film for Obi-Wan, apparently they're not done using him in the main series.
Oh.
So he could show up as a Force ghost in 8 or 9 or 8 and 9.
Nice.
The rumor is
Ewan McGregor.
But which version of him? The young version or the...
No, I mean, he'd be the older version, but Ewan McGregor would probably play him.
Right.
The rumor is that after 9 would be, like, his story would, like, that'd be the last time that we would see him. Then they would do an anthology film for him. So I was that sounds really interesting to me if it's true.
So he would basically be what Alec Guinness was, but he's not that age. And they would show leading up to Luke? Like what he's doing on Tatooine or no?
In an anthology film, I guess that he would be on Tatooine.
But what would they do with him in Episode 8?
I guess in Episode 8 he would show up as a Force ghost and kind of like lead the story, like not lead it as the main character, but kind of push the story forward.
When you talk to Luke? I mean, is Yoda and Ben Kenobi supposed to talk to Luke?
I think they're going to talk to Rey.
Okay.
I definitely think Obi-Wan's going to talk to Rey. If you had to pick one, like if they were going to say only one of these characters is going to talk to Rey, I would say Obi-Wan because of what happened in The Force Awakens. with him saying her name in the flashback.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I mean, Yoda was supposed to be in The Force Awakens. He was supposed to be at the end fading away like he was talking to Luke when Rey shows up and finds Luke.
But they decided what? No?
They decided not to do that. Now, there's been all these rumors that Frank Oz has been to the set of Episode 8. Why would he be there? You know, I mean, other than Yoda, I doubt that they'd have him voice another character at this point. So,
yeah, probably.
I'm saying, if anything, I think Yoda would talk to Luke. Maybe he convinces him to train Rey. And then later on, Obi-Wan shows up and he talks to Rey. Because the other rumor that came out today for Episode 8, apparently one of Luke's lines from the movie got leaked.
How does that happen?
I don't know. That's why I don't buy this one too much.
People are honestly doing it, so that way they can go, and then we go back later and go, oops.
Right. Well, we also have to remember this. With any news that comes out, especially for the main series, they are not against putting Disney themselves, or Lucasfilm, I guess you want to say. They are not against putting out false information to throw people off.
Well, that is true, yeah.
It is a tactic that they use, which I think is a very smart thing to do. Michael Bay does the same thing. So, I mean, as much as people hate him.
It's like, okay, is this part of the rumor mill? Or is this
exactly.
genuine?
So that's why I always say take everything that Star Wars-wise with a grain of salt, unless it comes from certain sites. There are certain sites that I don't know how they get this stuff, and it is right like 98% of the time. And it's kind of scary. But, yeah. So, apparently they're not done with Obi-Wan yet. That was the big rumor.
So, another thing, with the Rey, who is the father, like, who is she related to?
Yeah.
Like, I see these articles pop up, and they're talking about, how can they have Star Wars without the Skywalkers? And they show all the Skywalkers, and then for some reason they have Rey on there like she's a Skywalker.
Yeah.
What if she's a Kenobi, though? I know we've before, but funny if she's related to Kenobi in some manner.
See, that gets messy because the timeline doesn't work.
I know, but still, it doesn't even have to be Ben. It could be somebody who's related to Ben, like a brother or a sister we never.
That would be silly. But she cannot be Luke's in any way. You don't think?
No, because they're done with the Skywalker lineage.
I mean, how the hell do we know? Like, if he was with anybody?
Here's my thing.
Mara Jade. I think Mara Jade ain't.
She's not canon
anymore.
She's not canon. Not right now.
No.
Here's my thing. I'm not saying it's impossible that she's Luke's daughter, but I mean, they confirmed this in The Force Awakens, the DVD, the commentary on the latest Blu-ray, the 3D release. I think it was Abrams said this on the DVD on the Blu-ray release. So this is, I'm pretty sure this.
You want to believe? How could you believe what he says?
Because he said it on the commentary. I don't think that he would.
All right.
Okay. He said that Kylo Ren had never met Rey before The Force Awakens. However.
But that doesn't mean anything.
However, Kylo Ren knew of Rey before The Force Awakens.
Right. We
know at this point, before The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren was with Luke Skywalker.
Was she supposed to be trained, and then he stopped it from him having any future students?
Could that be the thing? What I'm getting from this is if Kylo Ren knew of her, but never met her, to me, and this is just me speculating, that kind of sounds like Luke mentioned her before, or somebody mentioned her before, and just Ren never met her.
But Ren destroyed everybody before he could even train anybody anymore.
As far as we know.
So maybe she was supposed to be trained.
Could be.
I mean, it wasn't like a thing where it was a new prophecy, like she's the new chosen one, right?
We don't know that. It could be. I doubt it. I wouldn't be necessarily
Because
against
we got so
that.
mad. What girl? Remember, you got like really
Oh,
pissed.
Yeah. And in the
It's like-
novel, I'm almost certain there's a line that Ren has where he says, "Is it true you're just a scavenger?" And he says it like he's disappointed. So he's like, "Is it true you're just a scavenger?" Like he was expecting her to be something more.
Right.
So I've said this many times, I am almost certain that she is not related to Luke in any way, biologically. If we're going to count like
What is
Clone
the crazy
Wars...
thing?
What?
Yeah. Could she be related to Palpatine?
Yes.
And
Which would
like,
be...
just like...
Which would be like
Yeah.
that would be a twist, which I would not necessarily be opposed to, because
Yeah, she don't have to be evil necessarily.
exactly, because there's a lot of things you could do with that. You know what I'm saying? There's a
Right.
lot of things where you could kind of say, oh, well, maybe somebody in the First Order wants her in the First Order so she could rule like Palpatine did. It would explain a lot.
Well, I got another question for you. Was Palpatine a Jedi before he was a Sith?
No.
He was always a Sith.
He wasn't all. See, we don't have his backstory canon. In the old canon, he was all like he was the son of a politician. Darth Plagueis found him and took him as an apprentice after he killed his family.
Okay.
Palpatine killed his own family. In the new canon, we don't know, but I'm pretty sure he was not a Jedi, because if he was, there would be records of him as a Jedi before all this happened. They would know he's Force sensitive,
Right.
and he never would have gotten into the position as Supreme Chancellor.
And Dooku was a Jedi.
He was a
That-
Jedi, yes.
That was Yoda's
Okay, here's a speculation.
Padawan, right?
What
Yes.
if he had changed his name, or he written off his family name so that to conceal the actions that he had done?
Who, Palpatine?
Yeah.
In the
Nothing
most
was-
recent book, he says his real name, so it's...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he was the son of a senator, though.
Yeah, but
That's kind of hard to
he
change.
says his whole name in the book, so that's canon now.
Okay. So now Snoke is what?
But got me. Apparently, and Pablo Hidalgo, who's in charge of all this stuff, canon-wise and whatnot, he has said, and he has implied, that none of these theories are correct about Snoke.
I mean, could Snoke be part Emperor,
What do you mean?
part Vader? Like the dark side essence?
I guess, I mean, it would explain... I mean, the only things that we know about him are that he's been around for... They say he's been around for a long time. He saw the rise and the fall of the Empire, and he knows what happened between the Emperor Vader and Luke in Return of the Jedi. Nobody knows what happened in that room except for a few people based on what's in the canon novels. Nobody. They didn't tell anybody. The only people that know, I believe, are Luke, Han, Leia.
Could he be a clone
And that's
of,
about it.
like, Anakin or something?
I mean,
Or
he
clone
could
of the
be.
Emperor or something?
I don't think he's going to be a clone of the Emperor.
I mean, they're still cloning, though, right?
There is, yes, yeah.
But they don't clone Jedi, right?
Well, the idea was that you can't, but that's no longer canon.
Right.
Technically, that never was canon.
So in other words, if they cloned Darth Vader, he wouldn't necessarily be Darth Vader. He'd just look like...
No, he would just look like him.
Anakin.
You'd have that's the thing with cloning. Like you clone the body, but you don't clone the personality.
Like
You'd
the
have
soul
to kind
is
of
not...
like do that.
Can't be cloned.
You can't clone the soul, but
Right,
you can clone
yeah.
the body. They did this in
Right.
the Force
It's like
Unleashed.
Kira.
In the Force Unleashed, Starkiller dies. In the Force Unleashed
Right.
2, there's a clone of Starkiller who's similar to him, but the only reason he's similar to him is because Vader trained him the same way.
Okay.
And in that game, Ram Koda, who is a Jedi Master that kind of helps the first Starkiller, the original Starkiller, turn to the light side, when the clone Starkiller tells him that he says, I'm a clone of Starkiller, Ram Koda laughs and he says, you can't clone Jedi. It's impossible. So, again, that's not canon. That technically never was canon. But, I mean, the idea is there.
So why did he say you can't clone Jedi? I mean, that's really Starkiller?
I guess, yeah, that's what they were implying.
And the other one was a clone?
In the bad ending, which is not the real ending to the game, in the bad ending, there is a perfect clone of Starkiller who is like a perfect Sith, almost. And he kills the clone Starkiller, and he screws up the timeline. Like, he kills Han, he kills Leia, he kills Chewie, he turns Luke... Oh, no. Luke turned to the dark side already. Then the Emperor kills Vader and all this stuff, and it's like really messed up. In the good in the good ending, which is the real ending to the game, they imply that you can't clone Jedi because there's all these imperfect clones who are like really messed up, and like they can't really do much. There's no other clone that we know of, so they implied that maybe that was the real Starkiller. You never get a solid answer to that because we never got a Force Unleashed 3.
And this could Snoke be Darth Plagueis?
He could be, but that's been like Hidalgo's been like no. But one thing that I always say is, if anybody got the theory right, he would say no anyway. If they nailed who Snoke was to a T before the movie where he's revealed comes out, and somebody asked Pablo Hidalgo, is Snoke this person? Regardless if they were 100% right or wrong, Hidalgo would say no.
So he's probably Darth Plagueis, because Darth Plagueis, didn't he manipulate the midichlorian thing to make it that
yes,
Skywalker was pregnant?
Well, no, that's a speculation.
Okay.
It was heavily implied in the novel. The novel's no longer canon. However,
right.
Darth Plagueis is canon, and he had the ability to manipulate midichlorians. That is all canon, because it's in Episode 3. So, he could be. I'm still not giving up on that theory. I'm not as on board with it as I once was, but I'm not ruling that out, because here's my thing. If Rey, and I've said this before, if Rey is not somebody that they can reveal and everyone will be like, oh my gosh, Snoke has to be somebody that they reveal and that they'll reveal and we'll all say, oh my gosh. Because if you just come out and say, oh yeah, Rey and Snoke are just two new characters, people are going to be like, so what? You know what I'm saying?
So the second movie coming out is going to be like Empire Strikes Back, the big reveal, and the good guys are going to lose in some way like they did in Empire. And then the third and the ninth movie is going to be like Return, the big comeback.
Probably.
So the big reveal could be Rey turning to the dark side.
I hope so. Dude, listen. Some people complained that The Force Awakens was too much like A New Hope. You have Rey turn to the dark side, that complaint for the next two movies is gone, and I don't care what anybody says.
Gone out the window. Yeah, I mean, if all of a sudden she starts like chopping people up and losing it, where's your hero then? I mean, who's going to stop her?
Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. If you have her turn to the dark side, now you have the perfect opportunity to build up Finn as your main hero.
Is he Force sensitive?
I doubt it, but that's okay. That's okay. I hope that there is like Han Solo. I hope that there is a big main character who's not Force sensitive. I really do, because.
But isn't there supposed to be new characters that they brought into 8 that are major characters?
Well,
like
I mean, we
like
have
kids of Lando or Leia or other kids or something.
Well, I mean, we have Han and Leia's son, so that's taken care of.
But didn't they have? They only had one kid. Definitely.
They had one kid, definitely. Canon confirmed. They had one son.
What about a daughter?
No.
No daughter.
No, because in what was it? It was in Aftermath Life Debt. Leia uses the Force to sense her child, and she says it's a boy. That's pretty much it.
And that's it.
And in Bloodline, Ben Solo is 23, and he has no siblings. That's 6 years before The Force Awakens. So it's like,
all right.
You know.
But Luke is nothing about Luke, though.
No, we haven't gotten anything about Luke because I think they're saving it because I think he's done something huge, like unbelievably huge, and they're just not ready to tell us yet. I think we're going to get a flood of his stories after Episode 8.
Like he had kids?
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. I doubt it because the way they're making it sound, and literally, this is what they said in one of the books. After Return of the Jedi, like literally right after that, he was gone. He went to do his own thing.
But they knew where he was. He was training.
They did. They knew where he was until whatever happened, and he left, and he went to Octu.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, but like you said, there are characters coming in. There's Laura Dern's character, who I think is Lady Carice Sundian from Bloodline, and whoever Benicio del Toro is playing is apparently a big character. Could be, yeah.
A villain? Okay.
Funny if he's Snoke.
So now Snoke is the main bad guy, or not necessarily?
I'd say he is. He's pulling the strings.
There's nobody above Snoke.
Well,
what if he's just a person that's just answers to someone else?
Look, I mean, there's a convincing idea that Snoke doesn't even exist, and that it's actually Gallius Rax's Shadow Council that's using a figurehead that doesn't even exist, and it's Snoke.
Okay.
Which is implied heavily in the same book in Aftermath Life Debt. There's a character in there named Ray Sloan, who is basically in charge of the Empire. Now, since the Emperor is dead, she's in charge of the largest faction of what's left of the Empire. But she has a superior named Gallius Rax, who is kind of like Thrawn, and he creates the Shadow Council. And there's a very telling line in the book where someone is talking to Ray Sloan, and they say something along the lines of, "Why do you listen to him? You're in control. People know that you're in control. So why, whenever he contacts you, why do you even answer?" And she responds with something along the lines of, "Well, it's not like he's a hologram that I can turn on and off."
Ooh.
What was Snoke in The Force Awakens?
A hologram.
He was a hologram.
So he's basically the leader of the Empire. Well, the First Order.
Yeah, but basically, yeah. That's why they call him Supreme Leader Snoke. I mean,
Supreme Leader. Yeah.
That's his title.
Of the whole entire First Order.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as we know. They could come out in this next movie and be like, "Hey, guess what? There's actually another guy."
Alive or something, or whatever.
Or something like that.
I mean, if the Emperor foreseen everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "It's as I foreseen it," right? Then he knows he's going to die, right?
Well, the idea was that he didn't foresee that.
What if Snoke's an anagram of somebody? I just started thinking about this the other day.
Yeah, that could be.
If we look closer at the name, of course, they're just using a portion of it. So if we looked at his entire name, it's like, okay, Snoke, if you rearrange it this way, that's who it truly is.
Well, something that was really interesting that, again, I believe it was Pablo Hidalgo said this again. Because I guess he either got fed up with people asking him who Snoke was, or he wanted to just throw us a bone. There's a series of non-canon novels. I believe they're called the Jedi Prince series. And he said, if you want to figure out who Snoke is, or come close to figuring out who Snoke is, you have to read every one of those books. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that because I don't have that much time on my hands. So I read the backstories of these books, and I believe in all of them or most of them, there is a character I believe was called the Prophet, who says he knows all this stuff because he's so strongly connected to the Force. Turns out he's not connected to the Force at all. He lied.
Oh.
So...
He just connected to the galactic first order internet, basically.
I mean, I guess that's...
First order Facebook, basically.
Yeah, right. But so I was reading that, or I was researching that, and I was like, huh, that's interesting.
Damn.
So I don't know. I mean, we could talk about this for like a week straight.
I know.
And we'll never even get close to who it is.
Well, we won't even. Well, that's fun about it. Is we talk about things, and then we usually like, you know, we hear stuff, and then we're so off sometimes, or sometimes we're very close. And it's funny to go back and watch that. And I'm like, oh my god, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny?
Like,
I mean, not getting off topic, but I mean, kind of related to what you just said. One of my related videos a couple of days ago I was watching videos on here, and I looked on the side, and one of the related videos was the podcast where you said, I guarantee you by 2020, we are going to have Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I was like, holy shit. Like, how did he know that?
That's right, man.
Like, you were on the money. Like, you were like 2019, 2020, we're going to have King Kong versus Godzilla. And then like 2 or 3 years later, 2020, Godzilla versus Kong.
Sometimes it happens. Right on the mic. Sometimes it's off base. I am a huge. I love.
Why he buys those little guys. They're telling him the future.
You know what you should do?
Right.
You should tweet that video to like Legendary or Thomas Tull, the CEO of Legendary, and see if he like retweets you or something.
Yeah, give me his thing. I'll send it to him.
You should definitely, because I
was thinking that was I did say that a long time ago.
You did, yeah. Because I remember we were in that cast, and literally the whole time I was like, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Man, there was another one. I was talking about New Independence Day.
Yes.
Right? That was actually going to be made. And there was some other movie that happened too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, you know.
I remember too, you got a comment on that video like a long time ago that was like, this is never going to get made. And then like the movie came out and you were like, yep, it got made.
Yeah. It's like the people now that like with the Ghostbusters sequel. And they're like still losing their crap. They're like, it's never happened. Flipping out like. I mean, today I got a couple. It's over. Like you can't talk about Ghostbusters anymore. Stop making any more money, but they're still like, it's not happening. It's not. Guy called me like Anus Lord. and Fuckface 2-on-2 and Anus Lord 2-on-2. He's like, it's not happening. You need to admit you're wrong. I was like. You know, because I said that, maybe they can announce on Saturday Night Live. And they didn't. But then Ivan Reitman came out, like, days after and said, there's going to be many Ghostbuster movies. Yeah. But he didn't say which ones.
Yeah, they didn't say whether...
There's many!
But it is going to be like an extension.
Yeah. And lo and behold, I said, Chris, they're probably going to do, to save face... And to make up with the fans, they're probably going to do that. There's going to be alternate universes with Zool, with the original Ghostbusters and the girls. I said that over and over.
I think I told you on one of the previous casts we did that I was reading an article about it, or I was looking at the article, and I was reading the comments, and somebody brought up that exact point, and it got a lot of support from people. I mean,
and I bet you I said that if I really backtracked it. I bet you I said that a lot.
I think you did say that a long time ago.
I was the first person, I think, to say that. So, you know.
I mean, I think it would be a good idea. Do it. Why not?
I think so.
I'd go see it.
Listen, if they were behind the girls, like Dan Aykroyd, Ivan Reitman, everybody. Then what's the big deal then?
Yeah.
Then be in a movie together. The only issue would be Bill Murray, but Bill Murray, I think, would do it now. Why not?
I think if they would have done a passing of the torch movie for the first one, where you had the original ones in there, and they kind of were like, we can't do it anymore, so they passed it on to them. I to this day, I honestly think that movie would have gone over so much better than what it did.
I think there's too much infighting with shit. That's the problem. And then the thing is, like, people just got to shut up, but they don't. Because they want to feed the trolls, and that's what happens. Then it's like a whole war. But if you think about it, they could even, like I said, you bring the original Ghostbusters back, right? You bring the new Ghostbusters back, and then you bring Oscar, who's the kid that's not a kid now, with probably Seth Rogen or somebody. You throw in James Franco, his friends, and everything. They could be Ghostbusters too. Also, have multiple teams. You want to have a Ghostbuster universe, you have to have multiple Ghostbuster teams.
Yeah. There's a lot they could have done. There's a lot they can still do.
Yeah. But they just right now, I don't know what the hell they're doing, to tell you the truth. The friggin' Ghostbuster experience is still in Times Square still. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, how could this still be here when the movie's done? You know, but it's the VR thing. Because you put that thing on, you're fighting like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So everybody loves that. Yeah. I want to play it myself.
Look at it this way: if the movie didn't do as good as it did, that would have been gone the first or second bad rating.
But that's still making the money. And the thing is too that we will never know how much money they paid off Bill Murray and everybody else because they put that in the budget. So really, maybe that's why they will do a sequel, because that's not really the budget. Like, again, I keep using the argument, Chris, right? They don't put how much they paid Star Wars off with George Lucas, $4.5 billion. They don't put that in the Force Awakens budget. But Sony puts that as part of the budget for the movie. That doesn't make any sense. That's a purchase. So, like, of course it's not going to make that back. They shouldn't even have to make that back. You know? It's a long-term investment. You know? When you open up a restaurant, you don't make your money back from the restaurant the year you open it. It takes a couple of years. So if Sony purchases the rights to Ghostbusters, it's not going to be made back with the first film. So you don't put it in the budget of the Ghostbusters. And I think that's why they keep telling everybody our numbers are different than your numbers, because they can't reveal. But they shouldn't have had to put it in the budget. That doesn't make any sense. There's no way that they use that much money for the budget anyway. You could tell. I mean, the graphics were great, but not that, I don't know. Anyway, we got off topic, but I'm looking forward to... Oh, and the Star Wars things, they got to continue with the sagas. That's bullshit, too. There's no way. You're going to tell me that 9 is it. After spending the $4.5 billion, they're going to do anthology films for like 30, 40 years now. They're going to have. No, they're going to have, just like people saying, oh, yeah, they're not going to have Marvel movies anymore. No, they've spent a lot for that, too. And they're going to be doing that forever.
Personally, I think what they should do, if they really wanted to say, okay, so kind of the Skywalker story's over at 9, just don't call them episode movies anymore. Because you call your main series now Star Wars something something, and then all the other ones will just be a Star Wars story.
But I like this to crawl. I like that.
Oh, no. I'm saying for the main series, we'd still have the crawl and everything, but for like, it just wouldn't have episode blank in it. It would just say Star Wars. Because they did, to be honest, I mean, they did that with The Force Awakens. If you look on most of the promotional material, it says Star Wars The Force Awakens, not Star Wars Episode 7. The Force Awakens. Right. So I think they're in the process of eliminating episode 7, 8. They're just getting rid of that, because I think now it's just understood. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay. This episode.
Do we know what the title is going to be of it yet?
No, which I'm surprised. I thought they were going to reveal it. I think we're going to get it soon, but I mean they could hold it till Celebration, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did. That's in April of next year, I believe. So.
Because I know when I went to my little $4 joint, there was Rogue One,
Yeah.
There was King Kong. And
Yes.
I forget which movie was in between the two, but they were separated by a different poster. But I was thinking that I can't wait for those movies.
Yeah. All right.
I should have taken a picture of it. I didn't even think about it until after I left the theater.
Psyched. I can't wait for this freaking movie, Rogue One, man. Can't wait. We're not going to have a trailer until Super Bowl, I guess, right? February?
For what?
Episode 8?
Again, I think they might hold it until Celebration. And then shortly thereafter, one will get released online.
I think we'll get a teaser, though, at least Christmas.
Hopefully.
That or I think it'll be a teaser. It'll be like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Or 15 seconds. It'll be like show something. They got to give us something, you know. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now.